the young and the restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, March 3 to March 14, reveal that Jack Abbott will rage over a Jabot leak while more chaos erupts for Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers. Kyle Abbott will also warn Summer Newman, Allison Lanier through some new boundaries, so let's talk about what's coming up. During the week of March 3-7, Diane Jenkins Abbott will give Billy Abbott some unsolicited advice about Phyllis. Since Phyllis is part of Billy's latest venture, Diane will basically warn that he's setting himself up for catastrophe. Even Jack will encourage Billy to be careful when it comes to Phyllis, who can be impulsive and tends to march to the beat of her own drum. Despite Billy's recent anger over Phyllis' shady trip, he'll start to feel like maybe something's wrong. Billy won't be able to shake the feeling that there could be more to the story and that Phyllis might be in danger. Daniel Rumalotti Jr. will talk to Billy about Phyllis' continued absence and the fact that she's refusing to call or text anyone again. Both Billy and Daniel will grow increasingly concerned, so they'll share their worries with Chance Chancellor. Y and R spoilers say Daniel will push for a real police investigation since Phyllis just isn't acting like herself right now. Chance was looking into Phyllis and Sharon's whereabouts before they got in touch, but he'll soon face pressure to dig for answers again and investigate more officially. Summer will still think Sharon could somehow be to blame for Phyllis' strange behavior, but Mariah Copeland will defend her mom. As for Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, he'll really start to worry about Sharon being in over her head somehow. In the old psychiatric facility, Phyllis will insist she can't take any more of these riddles and threats. After Phyllis decides to shatter a window and yell for help, Sharon will try to physically stop her out of fear that their captor will eliminate them. However, Sharon and Phyllis do have some form of an escape scheme coming up, one that presumably won't work. The captor may insist the game must continue and warn about punishments if the women don't comply. After Lily Winters reveals the favors she called in from Victor Newman, Nate Hastings will flip out over her having Damian Kane investigated. While Nate warns Lily to stop stirring up trouble, Billy will try to get under Adam Newman's skin, perhaps about his apparent reunion with Chelsea Lawson. There will be some pushed buttons at Crimson Lights, where Billy will have a run-in with Chelsea and Adam. That'll give Adam a chance to ask about Billy's upcoming launch and assume that his revenge plot's still intact. Speaking of revenge, Nikki Newman will get fed up with the conflict between Victor and Jack. Despite Nikki's attempt to play peacemaker, this longtime feud will press on. Jack will eventually discover a Jabot leak, so he may put the puzzle pieces together about the spies Victor ordered. That news could lead to furious Jack fighting back in a big way. Back with Nikki, she'll give Claire Newman some advice. Claire will later face Victor's ultimatum, so he may shut down her attempts to get his blessing regarding Kyle. In the meantime, Kyle will feel like some new boundaries are necessary when it comes to Summer. We'll see Kyle set some rules about their interactions and perhaps warn Summer not to make trouble for Claire. Jack will also make a vow to Summer, so he might sense that she's feeling like an outsider and promise she'll always be part of the family as Harrison Abbott's mom. Then again, maybe Jack will promise that Phyllis is strong and tell Summer to have faith that she'll wiggle out of whatever jam she's landed in. Across town, Audra Charles will do some plotting with Holden Novak. Holden and Audra will have a scheming session, so it sounds like these former flames are about to create a new mess. During the week of March 10-14, there's a good chance the Abbott Mansion refresh will finally be complete. Jack has been nervous about Diane going overboard, but our predictions point to him loving the changes in the end. As for Sharon and Phyllis' captivity drama, will they win the game and score their freedom? Could some rescuers somehow track Phyllis and Sharon down instead? Whatever the case, all the captor chaos may not be quite what it seems. There are signs Michael Baldwin might be trying to scare Phyllis and Sharon into moving past their conflict, so stay tuned for updates on whether he's responsible. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 2 weeks will bring some heated confrontations, stunning discoveries, and so much more. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers preview video for the week of March 3-7 reveals that Philly's Summer's window-breaking strategy will panic Sharon Newman, while Lily Winters sounds the alarm over Damian Kane's secrets. The show's weekly promo kicks off with a tense encounter since it shows Billy Abbott interacting with Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson at Crimson Lights. After Billy spots Chelsea bonding with Adam over breakfast, he may assume their relationship is back on track. Billy might warn Chelsea about the dangers of getting tangled up in Adam's web again, but Adam will be more interested in talking about business. Is today the day you officially launch an attack on me and Newman Media? Adam asks Billy in Y&R's weekly preview video. Since Billy's latest venture is Abbott Communications, Adam will assume it's just another revenge plot. Billy may argue that his focus is on being the best in the biz, and if that means Newman Media goes down in the process, he certainly won't mind. At Nate Hastings' place, Lily will share some important updates. When Devin Winters asks if there's more to Damian's story, Lily will confirm there's indeed a lot more. That'll give Lily a chance to spill everything she's learned from Victor Newman and voice concerns about Aristotle Dumas, the real owner of Damian's companies. In Captivity, Phyllis will decide she's had enough, so she'll pick up a chair and plan on breaking a window with it. Although Phyllis will want to smash it open and scream until someone hears her, Sharon will try to wrestle the chair away. "If you do that, you're going to get us both killed," Sharon shouts in Y&R's weekly promo. Our predictions hint that things will get worse for Sharon and Phyllis before they get better, so don't miss all the twists and turns. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis and Sharon's captor still has some surprising news in store for them. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Monday, March 3, reveals that Billy Abbott will suspect Phyllis Summers might be in trouble after Jack Abbott makes an alarming discovery. At Billy's place, Jack and Diane Jenkins Abbott will enjoy drinks with Billy and Sally Spectra, so there'll be some talk about Sally's interior design choices. That'll lead to a conversation about the Abbott Mansion refresh, so Billy will mention seeing construction crews at the house. Jack will be alarmed over that discovery since he didn't realize the revamp was so extreme, but Diane will keep downplaying the changes. After Billy toasts to Jack and offers gratitude for the funding, Jack will share some heartfelt words in return and insist he's proud of his brother. However, Diane will worry it's a bad idea to have Phyllis involved in Abbott Communications. Billy will wind up admitting he can't get in touch with Phyllis right now since she's off making some surprise deals. Diane won't like the sound of that and will privately worry to Jack about protecting his investment. Nevertheless, Jack will choose to have faith in Billy and the choices he's making, though he'll eventually urge Billy to keep his eyes open and be careful when it comes to Phyllis. Once Diane and Jack head to the athletic club, they'll continue to debate the Phyllis issue. Diane will basically act like Billy's doomed to crash and burn if Phyllis is part of his venture. Back with Billy, he'll admit to Sally that he contemplated cutting Phyllis loose due to her latest stunt. That said, another part of Billy will find something off about this sudden trip, so he'll consider the possibility that something else is going on. Sally will pick up on Billy's genuine concern about Phyllis being in some kind of trouble. Next on Monday's Y&R episode, Damian Kane will sit down with Amy Louise, so they'll acknowledge that they both could have handled things better in the past. After Amy and Damian laugh over memories of Figaro the cat, it'll seem like they're starting to get along again. Damian will be willing to try fixing their bond, so Amy will be pleased over this chance to make peace. At one point during their dinner, Damian will quiz Amy about Nate Hastings' cousins and whether they can be trusted. Amy won't know much about Lily Winters and Devin Winters, but she'll definitely sing Audra Charles' praises since Nate's girlfriend has been so helpful. At Nate's apartment, he'll have a little celebration with Lily and Devin since they closed a deal they'd been working on. As they drink, the topic of Damien will come up. Lily will come clean about her investigation, which led to her finding out Damien doesn't actually own the two companies they previously thought he owned. They're actually part of a larger corporation called Enrages, which is owned by Aristotle Dumas. Nate will get agitated since he didn't ask Lily to look into Damien's background. Lily will insist she wanted to protect Nate and will suggest Damien could be hiding other things from him. After Nate forces Lily to admit Victor was behind the investigation, he'll fly into a rage. Nate won't want Victor mixed up in any of this, but Lily will assure Nate that she never even mentioned his name. Even so, Nate will fear Lily may have ruined everything since Damien could find out about her investigating him and bolt back to LA. Once Nate settles down, he'll be sorry if he was too harsh. However, Nate will remain upset over Lily overstepping, especially when he hears she's had multiple meetings with Damien around town. In the end, Nate will push Lily to stay in her lane, and he won't want Devin doing anything to interfere either. The goal for Nate has always been to help Amy reconnect with Damien, so he won't want to jeopardize that. Our why and our predictions hint that Damien's keeping a few more secrets, so stay tuned for updates on any bad news that's brewing. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Lily may be right to keep her guard up. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of March 3, 2025 are here. Next week, fans can expect Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman to form an escape plan. Holden Novak and Audra Charles scheme. Plus, a leak is discovered at Jabot. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up next week in the CBS soap opera. Sharon Newman's Kidnapping. During the week of March 3, fans can expect Sharon and Phyllis to continue being held hostage. The two women still don't know the identity of their captor, and he keeps saying it's not important. Sharon and Phyllis solve riddles and have a bit of talk therapy. The women even get hot coffee in the morning. While the captives must work together, they are enemies and have very different personalities. So, working together isn't the easiest thing for them. Phyllis Summers' escape plan. Next week, fans can also expect Phyllis and Sharon to form an escape plan. In a weekly preview clip, Phyllis plans on smashing a chair through a window, then screaming for help. In the clip, Sharon tries to stop Phyllis. It seems that Sharon and Phyllis might come up with a better plan, one that won't get them killed. However, toward the end of the week, expect Daniel Rumalotti, Jr. to turn to Chance Chancellor again. This time, Daniel wants Chance to launch an official investigation into Phyllis' disappearance. Holden Novak and Audra Charles scheme. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Holden and Audra scheme together. Now, if they scheme together, what are the chances that they will end up back together romantically? Holden seems totally smitten with Audra, perhaps even in love. Audra didn't tell Nate Hastings the truth for a reason. She must still have feelings for Holden. Jabot leak discovered. Fans can also expect a leak at Jabot to be discovered. Meanwhile, Kyle Abbott lays down boundaries with Summer Newman. Speaking of Summer, she ends up pointing the finger at Sharon. Then, Victor Newman issues an ultimatum to Claire Grace Newman. Will Claire choose love or family? It is also stated that Sally Spectra announces her newest venture. Devin Hamilton Winters questions Lily Winters about Damien Kane. It seems Lily finds some major intel according to the weekly preview clip. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that 3 passionate encounters could be coming up. So let's talk about which characters may be destined to sizzle. Who's going to hit the sheets and shake things up in Genoa City? Of course, we should start with the most obvious bedroom contenders. Damian Kane is flirting up a storm and pursuing Lily Winters awfully hard despite her rather aloof attitude around him. Y&R is basically offering a neon sign that Lily's going to fall for Damian despite all her trust issues. Damian may have some ulterior motives for chasing after Lily, but he seems poised to fall hard too. The countdown is on when it comes to Lily and Damian landing in bed together, so it'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to get there. 2. Audra and Holden. Audra Charles recently uttered the magic soap word that can spell trouble when talking about a past relationship: intense. That's how Audra described her old romance with Holden Novak during a conversation with Sally Spectra. If things were so intense before, they're bound to get intense again. It sounds like the show's building to a situation where Audra may surrender to temptation with Damian, so that could prove disastrous for her relationship with Nate Hastings. 3. Summer and Kyle. Next, let's talk about Summer Newman and Kyle Abbott, since they may be a wildcard option for a passionate encounter. There are no guarantees that Kyle will land back in bed with Summer, but it's certainly a possibility to consider. During the week of March 3-7, Kyle will try to establish some boundaries with his ex. Summer has been pushing things lately, so Kyle may remind her to stay in her lane and respect his romance with Claire Newman. However, the fact that Kyle needs to set boundaries at all could prove he's getting nervous. Deep down, Kyle may have some lingering feelings for Summer, even if he's not willing to admit them yet. Summer will make some bold moves as this storyline progresses, so it's easy to imagine Kyle being unable to resist her somewhere down the line. Kyle may have a blow-up with Claire brewing that could ultimately push him back into bed with Summer. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some sizzling moments are ahead on Y&R, so we'll bring you more passion partner predictions and updates on any hot news to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Billy Abbott believes he's making progress, but is his secret partner an ally and a hidden danger. Sneaking out of his bedroom in the middle of a Parisian night was purposeful. Billy didn't want Sally Spectra to know what he was doing or who he was talking with. Meanwhile, Victor Newman is tasking his fixer, Michael Baldwin, to get as much information as he can about Aristotle Dumas. So, was Billy's secret call with this supposed billionaire businessman? Victor Newman loads the Abbotts. Victor's attitude toward the Abbotts is far beneath him. He does not need to think about Billy Boy, as he calls him, or his brother Jack Abbott. But all anti-heroes need a foil, or, in this case, foils. So the mustache decided that his exaggerated grudge against Jack was worth pursuing. Victor is convinced that Jack's reckless behavior in a Genoa City athletic club suite nearly caused Nikki Newman to die. That's not true. However, Victor believes it and has used that point of perceived contention to restart a war with Jack. Both men were in a mutually called truce for many years. Billy Abbott wants his company back. Billy feels that Victor is responsible for his mother selling Chancellor. But he's stubborn like Victor because that's not true either. Jill Abbott sold Chancellor to Victor as part of a process that initially had him sell it to her. As devoted viewers recall, Victor inherited Chancellor Industries from Catherine Chancellor when she died. Catherine left the company to Victor instead of Jill because she felt he would be a better steward. Victor was initially recruited to GC by Catherine to help her run the business she inherited after her husband tragically died in the 1970s. Philip Chancellor's death remains one of the great storylines in this show's history, with its resonance spanning many decades. So, Billy is delusional because his company was never his, and he's not a chancellor. Aristotle Dumas is coming to town. Aristotle is being pitched to the audience as the next great main character. Alternatively, he could be a side player who burns hot for a measured period and disappears. It's plausible to believe that Aristotle tapped Billy, or that Thompson's character sought him out. Having Billy go outside of someone who is known to join him in a fight against Victor silently makes sense. Assuming the above is possible, Billy is a far more significant threat than Victor realizes. Add Jack's funding to Abbott Media, and a compelling tale lies ahead this late Midwestern winter into spring. Drama is at an all-time high in Genoa City, and Nick Newman is caught in the ultimate nightmare, really the young and the restless spoilers. Two of the most important women in his life, Sharon and Phyllis, are in danger, but he might be able to only save one. Will he follow his heart, or will guilt push him toward an impossible decision? Keep scrolling to see what happens next. The young and the restless spoilers. Nick to make a big decision. The young and the restless spoilers suggest Nick Newman could be facing a dilemma that will turn his life upside down. Viewers know Phyllis and Sharon were drugged and kidnapped for this dramatic plot. The details of their captor are being kept under wraps. We cannot help but wonder if this is all a part of some elaborate scheme that will push the two arch-nemesis to work together and end their rivalry. We know that the person who took them has delivered a warning. If they don't plan, they won't survive their time in captivity. It is completely possible that the captor wants both of them to work together so the danger might not be so real. A few months ago, Y&R head writer Josh Griffith revealed that Sharon and Phyllis will be put in a life-changing situation where they will reevaluate their relationship. If this actually happens, then we know some shocking twist is also approaching. We know whenever there are Sharon and Phyllis, Nick also somehow gets the spotlight. What if the captor somehow brings Nick in the picture and forces him to make a big decision? The person who has put them in a psychiatric facility can insist that there will be one winner and Nick might have to choose that. The game could get more interesting if there is some sort of explosive device with a timer that will push Nick to make his decision quickly. We know Nick is currently close to Sharon, but both ladies are mothers to his children. So who will he choose? Only time will tell. So stay tuned to Soap Opera Daily for more such the young and the restless spoilers. James Houghton died of mesothelioma on August 27, 2024, at the age of 75. But his wife Karen did not want to discuss the matter until now. Our sister site The Hollywood Reporter explains. Houghton's name may not be immediately familiar to you, but trust us, you know his work. As an actor, he got his big break when he was cast by the young and the restless as lawyer Greg Foster, Nikki Newman's first husband. In 1979, Houghton was among the original cast of Dallas spin-off Knots Landing. As record producer Kenny Ward, he generated more broken hearts than hit singles. Just ask the long-suffering Mrs. Ward Ginger. Later, Houghton passed through Dynasty spin-off The Colbys as Senator Cash Cassidy, a formidable foe of Charlton Heston's Jason Colby, who was not accustomed to meeting resistance of any kind. Blake Carrington never had to put up with that sorta. In 1991, Houghton returned to Genoa City, although this time in the writer's room. As a scribe for The Young and the Restless, he won 4 Daytime Emmys. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest this week is going to turn everything upside down. Sharon and Phyllis, the longtime rivals, will find themselves abducted and held captive together. In the meantime, Billy Abbott will be blindsided as Nick and Daniel discover something big. Also, watch out as Audra Charles tries to play smart with boundaries. Let's dive into the details of everything that is coming next week. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Sharon and Phyllis are in a mental institution. For starters, Sharon and Phyllis are in for the shock of their leaves. These two enemies are locked up together in an old mental institution, and escaping won't be easy. Forced to work together, Sharon and Phyllis will have no choice but to support each other in order to survive their captivity. The duo will be pushed to their psychological limits as situations escalate. Even though they might get out of it alive, they will deal with some scary trauma until then. Meanwhile, Billy Abbott has no idea he's being left out of something major. With Phillies missing, Nick Newman and Daniel Romalotti Jr. are onto something big. Instead of looping Billy in, they're keeping it all hush-hush. And let's be honest, Billy doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to handling delicate situations. It seems Nick and Daniel believe Billy's usual impulsive ways could ruin their effort. Damian Kane is making moves. Audra plays smart. Next up, Damian Kane is stepping up his game both in romance and family matters. He's determined to win over Lily Winters, and his charm offensive is in full swing. At the same time, he's looking to patch things up with Amy Louise, which could prove to be more difficult than he expected it to be. Speaking of family, Damian and Nate Hastings might finally take the first steps toward building a real brotherly bond. Victor Newman is also looking into Damian's sneaky past. We know that the Newman patriarch isn't one to trust easily, and his suspicions are only growing, especially when it comes to Damian's connection to Aristotle Dumas. Later, Michael Baldwin will also drop some bombshells so Victor might plan his next move. Elsewhere in GC, Audra Charles is making it clear to Holden Novak that there are rules to follow. She's setting boundaries, but Holden doesn't seem like the type to take orders. Also, Audra hasn't been entirely honest about her past with Holden. Sure, she told Nate Hastings some details, but her romance with Holden was a lot more passionate and complicated than she let on. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Daniel Romalotti will contact Chance Chancellor once again and ask for an investigation into his mother's disappearance. However, since Philly Summers has checked in once, will Daniel be turned down? Philly Summers has been gone for some time. Phillies and Sharon Newman have both been gone for a few days. However, both of them have called their families and told them we're out of town. Sharon claims to be in Sedona, while Philly says she is checking into investors for Billy Abbott. Unfortunately, no one can get back in touch with them because they have burner phones. Daniel is afraid that Sharon has kidnapped his mother because of everything she has done is recent history, even though she was drugged at the time. Daniel wants his mother found. He just lost his fiancée and cannot take losing someone else that he loves. Are Chancey's hands tied since Phillies is an adult? Chance Chancellor wants to help. Chance certainly wants to help since he blotched the whole murder investigation into Heather Stevens' Vale Bloom death. Chance knows that Summer Newman holds that against him, and he truly wants to find Phillies and bring her home. However, Chance may need proof that Phillies was kidnapped before he can open an official investigation, and they have none. Phillies didn't give any clue that she had been kidnapped when she called to let the kids know she was okay. Phillies couldn't find a way to leave a clue without getting caught by her kidnapper. Could the kidnapper allow her to check in again? Could Phillies mention something that will alert them that Cheese has been taken? Summer Newman takes things into her own hands. While Daniel is trying to get Chance to look into this, Summer is busy taking it upon herself to play detective. Summer will also use this opportunity to get some alone time with Kyle Abbott by asking him to help find her mom. Will these two manage to find Phillies before the cops get to her? Summer and Kyle may figure out some sort of clue from Phillies' call and manage to figure out where she is at. However, can Summer and Kyle take down the kidnapper and bring them to judge while freeing both women? Could Sharon and Phillies manage to escape and save themselves before anyone can get to them? Will this search bring Summer and Kyle closer together as they try to save Phillies? Come here for all things Y and R. Check back often for all of your Young and Restless news, spoilers, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Phillies Summers and Sharon Newman have been kidnapped together. Want more of the Young and the Restless? Get updates on the latest news about the Young and the Restless straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. Forced to play the game, who is behind the distorted voice over the speaker? Could it actually be Michael Baldwin, who who is going to extreme measures to end the decades-long feud between the two women. Keep reading and let's discuss what could happen next with this storyline. Phyllis Summer's disappearance. Fans know that Phyllis and Sharon both disappeared at the same time. Nobody believed they would be together since they hate one another so much. However, there are clues adding up, especially after Phyllis and Sharon made phone calls to their loved ones. The phone calls were meant to eliminate suspicion. The mysterious captor doesn't want anyone looking for Phyllis and Sharon. Sharon Newman's survival skills. Sharon and Phyllis have no idea who their captor is. All that is known is a distorted male voice is giving orders. There are riddles to answer, and at one point, the phone was unlocked so they could contact their loved ones. Nick Newman's gut instincts. Sharon gave Nick Newman a story about being in Sedona. Sharon added that she lost her phone and had to get a burner. Sharon also claimed to have sent Mariah Copeland and Faith Newman text messages, which Nick will later learn was a lie. Despite the phone call being meant to reassure Nick, it has just set off alarm bells. Sharon and Phyllis both used the burner phone and out-of-town excuse within minutes of each other. Michael Baldwin's scheme. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that there are all kinds of speculation as to who is behind the game. One is Victor Newman, but he seems preoccupied with other things right now. Some fans believe it's Ian Ward, which is possible, but that seems way too obvious this early in the storyline. Could it actually be Michael? Michael and Lauren Fenmore Baldwin are sick of Phyllis and Sharon's feud. The legal battles, the constant bickering, Phyllis forcing her friends to choose sides, and even the frame job all stemmed from the rivalry. Lauren would never approve of a double kidnapping, but Michael has a devious past. Plus, the hostages get hot coffee in the morning and aren't exactly suffering. Even though Phyllis likes to name-call, the captor hasn't lost his temper yet. In fact, this seems to be about teaching the women rather than hurting them. That points to someone who cares for them both. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Nate Hastings will find out that Lily Winter had Victor Newman to investigate Damian Kane. Lily thought Nate would be happy to know what she has found out about his brother. However, Nate was furious. Nate Hastings did not ask for Lily Winter help. Nate didn't ask Lily to check into his brother's background. Nate wants to believe that Damian tells him and hopes that he will grow to trust him. However, beyond that, Nate wants Damian to reconnect with his mother, and he is afraid that Lily will blow that. Damian is already upset over being tricked. If Damian learns that he is being investigated, he could leave town and walk out on Nate and his mother. Damian and Amy Louise have been estranged since he was 16 years old. Damian believed that his mother allowed his father to die and didn't even want to be there to support him. Damian Kane is getting closer to Amy Louise. Amy and Damian have had dinner and even taken a trip down memory lane. Damian cannot promise to forgive his mother and go back to the relationship they had years ago. However, Damian has found himself encouraging his mother to try to find another doctor who might be able to help her to live longer. Amy has cancer and has been told there is nothing else that can be done for her. Nate has found her another doctor and Amy has agreed to see his friend. Nate is holding out hope that his friend can help Amy to beat this cancer. Nate wants to keep Damian in town to support Amy while she is going through this. Will Lily Winter cause Damian Kane to leave town? Lily has been seeing Damian here and there and encouraging him to make things right with his mom. Lily is a big part of the reason that Damian even stayed in Genoa City. Unfortunately, if the truth comes out that Lily had Damian investigated, Nate will end up getting the blame for her sticking her nose in Damian's business. Will Damian pack up and leave town now that Lily has invaded his privacy? Victor has connected Damian to another man who seems to own the companies that are supposed to be Damian's. However, Victor is still investigating even though Nate has told Lily to stop. Will Damian leave town and his mother because of this? The wildfires that tore through Southern California in January turned many leaves upside down, including some stars from The Young and the Restless like Eric Breeden and Melissa Claire Egan, who lost their homes. But while Joshua Morrow did not lose his actual house, he did find his community completely devastated by the Palisades fire. "You could go in and clean up the house that we lived in," Morrow admitted to Woman's World, "but the neighborhood, it looks like bombs went off. It's just devastation everywhere you look. Obviously, they'll go in and fix it, but it will never be what it was. The thing we lost that hurts is the community," he continued. "My family began and was raised there. My kids played in those parks, went to those schools and yogurt shops. The best years of my life, without question, were formed there, and it's just been wiped off the face of the earth. The memories that I have, that's all that's left now." Morrow, his wife, Tobe, and kids Cooper, Crew, Cash, and Charlie Joe spent over a month staying with friends and in short-term rentals, but they have found a new place to live for the time being. But the question of whether or not they will ever return to their previous home remains unanswered. "We're in there for a couple years," Morrow said of his new place. "We don't know when we're going back. If we're going back. It's that painful. We don't know what life is going to look like in a couple years. The unknowing is daunting, and we feel sort of guilty about bailing on this community we love. But I've got a family to raise, and now we can begin to piece things back together." Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers are currently held in captivity, really the young and the restless spoilers. The two of the most fierce women of Genoa City have suddenly vanished, but who could be behind their chilling disappearance? Could it be a bitter enemy from their past, a power player, or someone we'd never suspect? Let's dive into the drama. The young and the restless spoilers. Who's behind the kidnapping drama? For starters, the young and the restless spoilers suggests that Ian Ward could somehow be involved. We know the sinister villain is supposed to be dead, but since when has that ever stopped someone from stirring up trouble in GC? The last time Ian tormented Sharon and Phyllis, he had a sinister plan: frame one for killing the other and sit back as they destroyed each other. Has he returned from the dead to wreak havoc? Next, it could definitely be the ghost that Sharon kept talking to for weeks, Cameron Curson. We know he haunted Sharon, but in the end, she convinced herself that it was all in her head. What if Cameron's mind games didn't end with his death? To make things even more shocking, Lyndon Ashby himself recently revealed that he'd love to return to Y and R, maybe even as Cameron's long-lost twin brother. Could he be the one? There is also a possibility that Michael Baldwin is the mastermind behind this twisted double kidnapping. Maybe Michael isn't trying to torment them, maybe he's trying to teach them a lesson. Sharon and Phyllis have never exactly been best friends, and their long history of feuding has led to some epic showdowns. Could Michael be hoping that a little forced captivity might finally make them call a truce? Despite the distorted voice, some of those words and phrases coming through the speaker sound suspiciously Michael-ish. Phrases like "valid request" and "ladies," those just scream Baldwin's tone of words, right? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned to Soap Opera Daily for more The Young and the Restless spoilers. The Young and the Restless spoilers weekly update for March 3. 7 teased the week ahead features Sally making a revelation about her future, while Jack gives his blessing and Nikki asks him a favor. Plus, Lily is suspicious about Damien. Tune in next week so you can catch all of the action in Genoa City. Weekly recap. Phyllis and Sharon were missing in action, worrying their families. Chelsea plotted her next move with Adam. Audra told Nate the truth about Holden, but she kept a bit of information back. Tuesday, February 25, 2025 episode #13068. Phyllis found herself in dire circumstances, while Sharon was forced to make a difficult decision. The two were in a dingy underground room, and they realized they had to work together to stay alive, which was a difficult thing for them. Victor recruited Michael to help Lily learn more about Damien. Damien put down roots in Genoa City, deciding to stay for a while. Adam pulled out all the stops to impress Chelsea with a romantic dinner. Thursday, February 27, 2025 episode #13070. Victor warned Nick about Sharon, and he felt that everything was probably just fine, but Nick was still worried. Adam and Chelsea gave in to temptation, deciding to move forward, slowing with giving their relationship another try. Phyllis stood her ground with Sharon as they reluctantly worked together. Nick and Daniel kept a secret from Billy about Phyllis and Sharon missing. Audra set boundaries with Holden over their past. Suspicions mounted about Phyllis and Sharon because they both made strange phone calls at the same time, which didn't set well.